anti-people policies and programs. He reasoned that the best for him to do is to be remorseful and tender public apologies for his years of maladministration instead of threatening the governor who is clearing the mess he left behind after his 8 years of misrule. The governor, who noted some anti-people policies of Mr. Aregbesola, including misapplied contributory state pension fund and cooperative deductions fund, said the former governor has no moral right to attack the governor who is now clearing the unjustified debt and rehabilitating brutalized Osun workers. While stating that Osun people know their present and past governors, he maintained that they are smart enough to know that the worst era for the state is that of Mr. Aregbesola. In another development, Governor Adeleke has expressed pain over the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari, describing the late Nigerian leader as a patriot who contributed immensely to national development. The governor, through a release by his spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid, extends heartfelt condolences to President Bola Tinubu on the devastating loss, saying that Nigeria has lost a distinguished leader who gave his all for the country's progress. He described the former President Buhari as a watchword for integrity with inspiring honesty and selflessness in public service, added that Nigeria has lost one of its finest leaders whose contributions to nation building is unquantifiable. He commiserated with former First Lady Mrs. Aisha Buhari, surviving children and immediate family who lost more than just a father and confidant, but an embodiment of integrity who brought so much difference to governance in Nigeria, while extending sympathy to his counterpart in Katsina State, Governor Dikko Rada, the Emir of Daura, and the people of Katsina State. Governor Adeleke prays for the repose of the soul of the late leader, while hoping that Allah comforts everyone impacted by his monumental loss. In related developments, tributes have continued to trade the demise of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died at a London clinic at the age of 82, as his remains are being laid to rest in his hometown Daura, Katsina State, at a state burial organized by the federal government. Those who spoke in separate interviews with OSBC News, including comrades Wahid Lawal and Mashood Fadare, said the former two-times leader served Nigeria to the best of his ability, and history will always be there to judge every leader. This takes in turn.
He served Nigeria as a military head of state and two-time president, elected president of the Nigeria should remember Buhari for his frankness, boldness, and transparency. Whether we like it or not, he came, he saw, and he conquered. May his soul rest in peace.
I will remember him for his relentless efforts by contesting 3 good times. He lost out during the military junta, and he came back during the democratic era that started in 1999. He made repeated efforts, first, second, third time, but failed. Unfortunately for him, he contested again for the 4th time and won. So I will remember him of his relentless effort, and I think it's a great motivation for our children and the younger ones coming, that if at all you are unable to make it, it's good to try and try again. Again, I will remember him of his compliance to due process. We can now attest to the fact that he's not a man that will influence due process. Under his reign, we saw states belonging to his political party that were taken away from his government through the courts. So it speaks to the fact that he's a good man.
Buhari, the Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Alfred Martins, has called on the government and stakeholders to urgently reform Nigeria's ailing healthcare system. In a statement issued on the day of In a statement issued today, Archbishop Martins expressed deep condolences to the late president family and the Nigerian people. He used the occasion to spotlight the long-standing failures in the nation's health sector, drawing a link between the late president's death in a London hospital and Nigeria's over-reliance on foreign medical care. Recalling the public outcry by former First Lady Aisha Buhari over the poor state of the state house clinic during her husband's tenure, the Archbishop described the situation as indeed a shame. Archbishop Martins noted that Buhari's death marks the second time the sitting of former Nigerian president has died in a foreign hospital, referencing the 2010 passing of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua in Saudi Arabia. He decried the inequality in access to health care, saying the wealthy can seek treatment abroad, while ordinary citizens are left to die from preventable diseases. He concluded by urging the government to view Buhari's death as a wake-up call to make urgent and strategic investments in Nigeria's healthcare system. As the stool of Olubadan of Ibadan and the Awujale of Ijebuland remain vacant following the demise of the revered monarchs, Nigerians have called on the government not to politicize the selection processes but follow the due process and due diligence so that the right persons will ascend the thrones. This is the view of some social affairs commentators, Dr. Yinka Andrews and Dr. Soji Akinpelu, while speaking with OSBC News. They noted that the traditional institutions play formidable roles in the society, hence the need to ensure that the right persons ascend the thrones. They speak.
Tradition B. Let us do things the way it had been done so that it can turn out the way it had been turning out good for the people of that community. So if you ask me, we have missed the two very correct and important kingship in Yoruba land. But like I said, it is the ascendancy now that we have to contend with. That of Ibadan is a done deal. In fact, it's already sacrosanct. There is no way politics got in, but it has been settled. But that of Ijebu, they mark my words, politics will settle there.
These traditional rulers, they have important role to play in government. And it is my candid advice to government to make sure that they are brought back into government so that we can see solutions to most of our problems. Look at the issue of security. When you incorporate the traditional rulers into government, you will find out that this issue of insecurity will be reduced to the barest minimum. Honestly speaking, most problems we are having, traditional rulers know their people. They know when strangers come into their domain. And, you know, if they leave this issue of security to traditional rulers, we will have gotten solution to it.
And now to sports. Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu has apologized to Nigerians following the team's goalless draw against Algeria in the Women's African Cup of Nations 2024 final Group B match in Casablanca. The match ended without goals despite Nigeria's efforts to secure a much-needed win. The result has left fans frustrated as expectations remain high for the country's most successful women's football team. Speaking after the game, Madugu acknowledged the disappointment by taking responsibility for the side's not too impressive performance amid the Super Falcons bid for a record 10th title. Super Falcons edged Botswana to reach WAFCON quarterfinals. Despite the draw, the Super Falcons secured qualification to the quarterfinals of the tournament following victories in the two earlier Group B matches against Tunisia and Botswana. And now to the foreign scene. A new wave of violence has erupted in Sudan's North Kordofan state, with activists reporting that almost 300 people have been killed in attacks that began over the weekend. The emergency lawyers, a Sudanese human rights group, say the paramilitary rapid support forces launched coordinated assaults on villages surrounding the city of Bara, which is currently under RSF control. In the village of Shan Ano alone, more than 200 people were reportedly killed, either shot or burned to death in arson attacks. According to the group, looting raids in neighboring villages claimed another 38 civilian lives, while dozens more remain missing. Reports say North Kordofan has become one of the central battlegrounds in Sudan's civil war, which broke out in April 2023 between the RSF and the country's national army. The conflict has devastated communities across the nation and created one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. And that ends the evening news on OSBC TV. Please join us at 7 for the major report. Good evening.